And still on the news, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA) and other stakeholders in the maritime sector on Monday in Abuja kicked against proposed amendment of the NIMASA Act to establish a maritime security fund. This was done during a public hearing organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Maritime Safety, Education and Administration. Mr. Gambo Ahmed, Executive Director, Maritime Labour and Competence Services, NIMASA, while opposing the proposed amendments of Section 17 and 22 of the Principal Act, insisted that amending the NIMASA Act to fund the Maritime Operations Amendment Bill is not necessary, as Section 3 of the bill will create a duplication of the collective work in collaboration with international bodies.
We'll have the time. You have also, you are all honorable members, patriotic members, and I'm sure you look at all submissions critically and take an informed position.
Ask for the maritime sector to begin intervention for, like I said, over 100 million barrels of crude, which is the only cargo we have ready. We don't carry even one bucket.
Commands the respect and assets of the IMO. Those are just two questions for determination.
Earlier, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Mohammed Bago, said the need to have a secured maritime environment prompted the House to sponsor the bill.
It's a process of making law. When bills are brought for amendment, we get opinion from the public, and we form technical committees that will handle these issues.
Bago assures that stakeholders that the committee will work on the bill effectively and recall them back. And our next story, the ECOWAS Court of Justice has on Monday ruled that the removal of Sierra Leone's Vice President Sam Sumona from office in 2015 by President Ernest Bar Koroma violates his fundamental human rights to fair hearing and to participate in politics as guaranteed by the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and other international human rights instruments. The ECOWAS court ruled that Sierra Leone should pay the applicant all his salaries, emoluments from the date of removal to date. Raymond Atuguba is the counsel to Mr. Sumana.
Is that the removal by President Koroma of his vice president, Alhaji Sam Sumana, at the time he did so, was wrong. And they are stating emphatically that it was wrong as violative of his rights. And therefore, that removal has been struck down. So this case is not just about costs. It's about the integrity of the Sierra Leonean state and the rule of law, which says that a president cannot get up one fine morning and just dismiss his vice president.
The former Sierra Leonean vice president, who was accompanied to the court by some of his family members, expressed joy for the court's verdict.
Sierra Leone has gone through a lot. We've had 11 years of civil war as a result of the grievance of a single individual who felt mistreated as a military officer, and the senseless war of killing over 45,000 Sierra Leoneans. At a time when we were in the Ebola crisis, at which the whole world was frowning at us and sympathizing at the same time, when we had lost over 3,400 Sierra Leoneans, the president of Sierra Leone, Ernest Bar Koroma, acted ultra-virus again to the constitution of Sierra Leone.
Galaxy's Godfrey Shemege reports that all the reliefs sought by the applicant will not be granted by the ECOWAS court because they have either lapsed or are predicates on the domestic laws of Sierra Leone. Costs were, however, awarded to the applicant to be calculated by the registry of the court. On our next story, Justice Munta Abimbola of an Ibadan High Court has charged convicted lawyer with the Oyo State Ministry of Justice, Yewande Oyediran, who has been standing trial of stabbing her husband to death of manslaughter. The case, which has been on for over a year, came to a close today with a judgment by the presiding judge handing down a 7 years imprisonment for the defendant. Correspondent Kule Jo reports that the chief judge in the judgment maintained that all the evidence before the court alluded to the fact that the deceased died following an injury from the knife used by the defendant. Having convicted her of manslaughter, not murder, Justice Ambibola therefore sentenced the defendant to 7 years imprisonment starting from the day of her arrest. Some of the counsels hailed the judgment of the court, stressing that justice has been done in the case.
I have nothing to react. The court has delivered judgment, and we abide by the court judgment. It's all right. The court has really done a very good job. The issue is that he has testified between murder and manslaughter.
I think that the court has done justice to Law because the court painstakingly, soberly, and calmly appraised the evidence before the court.
And now a coalition of civil society groups has called on the Federal House of Representatives to probe the alleged ceding of Nigeria's coastal waterways to an Israeli security firm. The Empowerment for Unemployed Youth Initiative and 11 other civil society groups have petitioned the National Assembly following reports that the Ministry of Transportation has contracted the patrol of Nigeria's coastal waterways to Israeli company HLLTL security firms and technologies at the cost of $195 million. The coalition of civil society groups voiced their concerns at a press conference in Abuja. The group called for a thorough probe of the transaction in the interest of national security. Owing to the general poor state of affairs in Nigeria's health sector, the Primary Healthcare Development Agency says it is adopting an innovative approach for funding to ensure improved access to quality maternal and child healthcare services in the country. On the opening day of a two-day conference held in Abuja, the agency said it is now compelled to adopt the performance-based financing. Binta Ismail is project director, Nigeria State Health Investment Project of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
I really want you guys to go out and see some of the structures. I know you have seen some of the PBF or the PSCs in Nigeria, but PBF structure, because of that ability to decide on what you need to do to improve services, the funds are there. So a lot of the structures are in place. The equipment are available, their labs are functional. In fact, most of them have lights 24 hours. They have water that the projects, through the projects fund.
She further states that the new approach for funding primary health care facilities in the country is yielding the desired result as communities involved are fast taking ownership of the project.
Community voice has also been enhanced under this project. Community has a voice because their satisfaction actually drives the projects. If they are not satisfied, the facility cannot earn much. So you are looking at quality, you are looking at quantity. Because of that, we call it effective coverage in PBF.
Under the Nigeria State Health Investment Project, the performance-based financing is in place to improve healthcare services in the project state of Adamawa, Nasarawa, and Ondo State. It is soon to be upgraded to include the northeastern states. And now we bring you more stories after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, this is Galaxy TV News. And now on our next story, as reactions continue to trail the call for restructuring, a group of concerned men says the process should be in the overall interest of the country and the people. The group under the aegis of Men's Missionary Union, who said this while briefing newsmen ahead of the MP3 conference, says Nigeria can remain as one nation regardless of the challenges of structures and infrastructure. Leader of the union, Oladayo Orolu, flanked by other members, says the conference will touch on key areas including national unity, restructuring, issues of coexistence, and the place of the family. He was quick to note that the battle against insurgency has been won, however, said that it had been overshadowed by cries of marginalization and fears of hidden agenda.
So the focus, therefore, is on how to use Christianity to foster unity in Nigeria amongst the people, regardless of tribe, religion, or political orientation. So the need to restructure the political and governance system in Nigeria has been a topical issue of late. Several political leaders and interest groups have canvassed on the need to restructure the system, but with different ideas about what that restructuring actually means.
Let's leave out Niger Delta issues. But what is God saying concerning restructuring? Yeah. And I want to trust God that these people will deliver that day too, for us to know the mind of God.
Moving on to Lagos, the state governor, Yewande Oyediran, has restated the commitment of the state government to ensure the comfort and safety of residents and investors, saying the general welfare of the people remains a top priority for its administration. The state government has also perfected plans to acquire intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance ISR platform, which is a specialized light aircraft to secure creeks and riverine communities in the state. Speaking at Lagos House in Alausa, Ikeja, when he received commanders of armed forces formations in the state on courtesy visit, Governor Oyediran said security agencies have been extremely cooperative with the state government and working hard to ensure safety of lives and property.
There have been so much peaceful atmosphere in this state, and I know that with your cooperation and your presence here today also, I believe strongly that the best set of comfort for Lagos citizens is yet to come, and I enjoin you also to make sure that whatever resources that we put down, they are efficiently used. And then I've never really had any cause to doubt your ability to do that for us.
Earlier General Officer Commanding GOC Air Force Logistics Command, AVM Jafaru Yaya, who led other service commanders including GOC 81 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Peter Dauke, Commander 9 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Elias Atu, among others, said they were at Lagos House to assure the state government of their commitment to ensure security-tight environment for people to go about their lawful business.
To pay a courtesy call and to assure you that we are here to cooperate with Lagos State to ensure we provide a very security-tight environment.
In the meantime, Lagos State Governor Yewande Oyediran on Monday commended religious leaders for upholding religious tolerance in the state and complementing government efforts in offering essential services to the people in critical areas such as free medical care, provision of shelter, and assistance to the needy. The governor stated this while receiving the leadership of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, led by its president, Dr. Felix Omobude, in his office. He said as a sign of celebrating and appreciating the religious tolerance in the state government would uphold and sustain the Interfaith Palais, which state started last year, saying this year's edition would hold in coming weeks.
Personalities, the religious leaders that have actually joined you this morning. I'm delighted. I've been off Lagos for the past 2 weeks, so starting my resumption on a very strong religious note is even divine.
Earlier, Mobude said they were at Lagos House to deepen the relationship existing with government and to identify with Governor Ambode. He said the PFN leadership is thrilled by what God had been using the governor to do in the state, saying the massive infrastructural renewal and various policies were having positive impact on the people.
The task of governors, we know, is not easy. We are thrilled at what God is using you to do in Lagos State.
And away from that, the governor of Ondo